frick is here? There's somebody there. Somebody's there. And they're closer, so much closer. They're right there. Why are we triple blinking across the map to chase something all the way? When there's somebody right there, it's a short range offing. I'll turn around. Serious question. Why do so many top 500 tracers seemingly play so different from the rest of us? I'm in High Masters trying to scrape into GM. When I play Tracer, I try to follow Spilo's advice of setting up angles, timing my engages so much, and effective range. Yeah. If you watch any top 500 gameplay on YouTube, whether it be Sugarfree, Danteh, J3, Hydron, Awkward, or any other not mentioned, you all seem to have blatant disregard for the tints I try to follow. The best way I can describe it is they all play Tracer like she's a faster Reaper. Yeah. Yes, that's it. They play on top of their team. Not likely, but possible. They don't set up a lot of angles, if at all, and they spend a lot of time shooting in main. Even if it's outside of their 12 meter damage, they just discard cover usage, blow their CDs, like recall very early or triple blinks, etc. On paper, they are not playing Tracer properly, but it clearly works, and there must be some merit to the way they play the character, otherwise they wouldn't be at the ranks they are, right? Has anyone noticed this difference of playstyle? What do you think? Am I overlooking a key part of the gameplay? The answer is that yes, Tracer is a faster Reaper, which means that you could set up deeper angles if you want to. The problem that people don't seem to understand is that Tracer doesn't always have to go for backline. She just needs to set up a short range off angle and shoot tank or shoot the angle or mark the DPS. Here's how low rank Tracer works. All right, got the enemy team in a big clump. Tracer's team is in a big clump. And then the Tracer takes a flank and goes... That's the wind blowing because there's nobody here, okay? There's nobody here, and then you shoot backline. In higher level play, this is not how people set up. This is what happens. And by higher level play, I mean, this happens in Plat. This happens in Diamond. It starts happening more and more. And you take your angle, right? Let's see, your Tracer takes the angle here. We'll give Tracer green here. And frick, there's somebody here. What am I supposed to do? I'm trying to take a flank that doesn't work. Give up. And maybe they'll commit to the flank and like try and sneak around behind and it fails and they get isolated and killed. Or people take angles. And so what do you do when the play style that you're trying to do, the angle that you're trying to take, the flank that you're trying to take, there's somebody freaking there? Well, you fight them, you shoot them, you poke them, you trade there. If you win the trade, maybe you'll force a 2-for-1, or maybe you'll just force them out. And then you'd actually take the angle, and you ready for this? Maybe you don't even shoot backline. Maybe there isn't a good angle to shoot backline. You take the lane, and you shoot the freaking tank. The reason why Tracer and a lot of these characters, tank, DPS, support, Kiriko, Winston, Doom, looks different is because flanks and low ranks are just not contested. You don't play differently in higher ranks. And that's going to be the key thing I'm going to tell you guys. You do not play differently. You still take angles. You still take flanks. You still take different sightlines. They're more likely to have other people that are trying to do the same thing. So you have to fight them for it. And that's where maybe the meta game shifts, but we're not playing a different game. So learn the rules like a pro, so you can break them like an artist. Sure. In all seriousness, though, Spilo has a video about cheating. Yep, that's absolutely. Cheating is basically saying, oh, I see somebody in backline, I'm just going to go in and finish them off really quick if you see an opportunity. Risky, but it's something. So also knowing that often streamers aren't always playing in top form. They play all day, they mess around for content. That is probably the most important thing here. A lot of these players are high-level mechanical players, but they are, not exactly locked in on stream. This is why you don't just want to mimic the higher-level players, because a lot of times what higher-level players did to get to there, especially streamers, was just play the game an ungodly amount of time and get really good mechanics and get really good at the kit of the character. You see, when you look at Tracer's hard because it's not just about off angles and timing. It's, can you blink properly? Can you put your crosshair on their head? Do you know how to dual a Cassidy? Do you have good recall timing? Can you hit your pulse bombs, right? You don't even always need to have good fundamentals if you just have the capability of the kit. I mean, I've seen people in a lot of other games perform really well without good first-person fundamentals because they're just really good at aiming. So there's no secret formula here, right? Now, some of that is demanded. You are going to have to put time in, but it's going to be significantly less if you're going to be able to accelerate that rate. For example, when I hit Grandmaster, I would say probably half of the hours in the game than other Grandmaster players had, because I got VOD reviews and I set goals and I worked on my positioning and CD usage, and I didn't just grind first-person shooters all day. I did grind mechanics, I did, but I just understood the game better. And that's even to this day. There's a lot of mechanical stuff here. Main thing is team play here. Top 500 Tracer main here. What coaches don't tell you is to climb quickly, you have to play incorrectly. This is not right. I mean, you can, but it's not right. That aggression will stay with your play something initially focusing on getting out. Tracer's not an assassin. She is an assassin. Time is gradually matter more since the admission of the DPS passive. This is also not true. The DPS passive has a minuscule impact on things, especially since it was nerfed on tank. You see how the perception of the game is entirely different at top 500? You want to know why Tracer is an assassin in top 500? Because there's somebody on that angle. You're being spy checked permanently. The problem is that this is why top 500 players are not very good at advice. Now, I don't know what the rest of this post is. We'll read the rest, but this is not good. And uptime is bad. Pursuing uptime is bad. The reason why is because he is saying, oh, you can't assassin anymore. You need to play for uptime, because you know what high uptime is in top 500? Do you know what high uptime is in top 500? It's the fact that every time you even start to take an angle, there's somebody there. So of course you have high uptime because every single step of the way is contested. Whereas in low ranks, you're still taking the same angles and flanks, but there's nobody there. Or less often. So you can't unga bunga the backline to kill often. You can when you're in Plat. You don't try to play differently, but it just happens. They're not there. And you can't wait for somebody to get low all the time either. That's true. That's not what we coach, is it? What's happening is playing significantly closer to your team, shooting but keeping your options open, shooting in the same way that those angles are congested. Right? Like think about it this way. Which tracer is playing closer to their team? The tracer that's on a contested flank right now, fighting the enemy DPS, or the tracer that is uncontested, wrapping around the backline? Which one? Which one's playing closer to the team? Obviously this one, right? Obviously this one. But is that a conscious, decisive choice? No. It's just because in my goal to go shoot people in the back, people are trying to stop me. So the question is, which tracer is doing a better job? And that's also a fundamentally flawed question. When you are uncontested on a flank, you get all the glory. But when you're on a flank getting contested, you're protecting your team at the same time. What happens if you weren't here? What would happen? Well, then their tracer would go on your backline, right? So you're just fighting for space. Basically, what tracers in a higher level, it's a lot less flashy in some ways, just because you're kind of doing the good old honest work of fighting for space. Would you say playing really close to tank is good as tracer? Not. I wouldn't go out of my way to. If I end up taking an angle and that happens to be the angle that's close to my tank, okay, sure. Actually, disregarding cover usage, shot leads to insta-death, no exceptions. I agree with this one. This, I will say, is probably over-exaggerated. We're going to look at some VODs in a second. Blowing cooldowns is purpose misplayed. It calculates risk versus. Never stick exactly what coaches say. They're trying to guide you in the right direction to give you general set of skills and provide a list of hard rules you can't break your brand. It's a fundamental flawed thing here, but that's okay. Like if you want to see somebody play the game well, watch a pro player. If you want to learn how the game is played, don't listen to a pro player. There are very few high-level players that are actually good at communicating their thought processes in a way that's actually improved. But anyway, we'll stop with that. And I actually have a question here. Try and find a couple. This one, we're going to kind of bounce back and forth here. Sugarfree, by the way, is a great tracer. Now, is he going to be playing full locked in on ranked after 4 hours of scrims? I don't know. If you guys have been in my channel, you have some expectations. This one, essentially the whole interaction between 140 and 310. He did end up getting a pick, but I'm not sure it was why he was in the position there for so long. Another interaction at 450. Okay, so 140, 310. Let's lock in, chat. So what do we got here? Sojourn, Lucio, Winston, Ana, Tracer. Chat, are the off angles going to be contested playing versus a Tracer, Sojourn, Winston, Ana, Lucio comp? Yes, every flank that you're going to take, there's going to be a Lucio on it. There's going to be a Tracer on it. There's going to have a Sojourn with their crosshair on your head. That's another thing as well. Higher level is almost exclusively in Overwatch 2 populated with more angle-taking heroes. You're more likely to run into Hanzos and Junkrats and Zen sitting in the back line. It's much more likely to be running into Tracers and things that can test you on the flank. Not just the playstyle, but the heroes themselves you're more likely to run to. Okay.
They are not worth 1.5k. Maybe when they were fucking new, that shit is worn.
Yeah, I just eat bread and soy sauce. Like, what's the most weird thing you eat?
Force Primal? What? Like he could be rotating all the way around in the flank right now, but this Winston overextends. He has an angle on the Winston, so pulse of Force Primal.
What's one weird thing you eat?
Weird?
This is a mistake. This is a mistake. There's no sugarcoating this. He thought about rotating. He wasn't sure about it. He should have rotated. He probably would have been marked by their Tracer, almost certainly. But it still would have been better because their Tracer has a much better stuff angle from this position here. So he needs to pull that Tracer onto the angle and then take the 1v1 on that flank. In fact, that would have also given his Kiriko an angle with which to take out. This sucks. Now, what he's probably going to do is he's going to walk out. He's going to double blink off to the side here. But even that's going to be tough because that's going to take resources. Yeah, there it is. So he's going to take the double blink here. But now that leaves him vulnerable to the enemy Tracer marking because he's used resources to take the angle instead of just walking on the angle when he had the time. So now he's going to get his recall forced. And if they were paying attention, he could have died there. This is a mistake. There is no sugarcoating this. He would have been marked if he'd taken the angle, but it still would have been worth doing. This guy's yapping in voice chat. He's not locked in. Sugarfree is a phenomenal tracer. Phenomenal tracer. But this is just a mistake. So you're right. This is wrong. And you can see the consequences of it too. And now, because he doesn't have recall, he's careful and cautious about taking... Now, there's a lot of verticality here, so there's not a lot of angles that he can take carefully. But he can't exactly deepen his angle and try to mark card here because he doesn't have his recall. He's missing HP. He's still missing HP. He's still missing HP. So he's kiting and holding a soft off angle here, so that's good. But he doesn't have the resources. Now he has resources here. So Oh, by the way, he doesn't have to deepen here because the question is, Chad, is are we on an angle right now? Are we on an angle right now? Now, obviously, this is a little far, and because he still doesn't have HP. By the way, he hasn't been full HP for over a minute, right? But are we on an angle right now? Think about it. Yes, we are. It's not a flank, not like deep here, but yeah, we got backline up here. We're here, poking here, we're poking here, we're poking here. This is fine. It's a little long, but we're playing like this because we're missing HP. So I think this is making the best of a bad decision or a bad position. Because again, how many heroes could hold this angle without dying? Any other character would have gotten dove and died a long time ago because he's behind his tank. But the thing is his tank is on an angle. Angle is come. And let me say this really clearly. Angle has nothing to do with your tank, your support, your DPS, the position on the map. Like, this is main, everybody knows. Well, it might not. It has nothing. Everything is relative. Right now, main on the map and with your tank is an angle because of where your backline is. Now, what I would have liked is I would have liked him have split from his tank. I would have liked his stupid Kiriko to find an opportunity to TP out and get to here. She's trying to babysit the Winston, which is a really stupid mistake, because you're just giving free value to their backline. If we could get Hog holding corner here, Sugarfree playing his resources and setting up a lot better, we could have Kiri Tracer here, Hog here, and then Ana, what is that, Sojourn here? And as long as they don't have like Nano Primal, that's probably fine. And honestly, we can even sell our Ana. It's just a bad setup from our Kiriko and a bad setup from our Tracers kind of snowball things. And so now they're 24/7 stuffed and choked. Like, this fight is unwinnable with this setup. And that starts with Sugarfree.
So we just carry ult?
Yes, we carry ult to get out of this. Oh no, they used it. They wasted it.
So we just carry ult?
Cheating. But you know what? It's there. He had his recall. He had his blinks. And he also didn't just go in at a bad time. He went in at a very well good time. That wasn't that good of a clip, guys. It really wasn't that good of a clip. The guy was standing still. I think that's mostly it. Well, we'll go till 310. When a team is fighting for nothing, maybe because of nothing. Yep. It's not complicated. And now we're marking the angle, right? And now we go, oh, well, now I have to rotate away because now that's Ana plus Tracer. So
Shit on you? No. Oh, he did first fight.
So now we take the high ground. This is a great rotation. Now we're being marked on the angle again, so we just need to take the duel. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. And you know why he's doing this? Because he wants a pulse on Winston. So he's giving up the angle to look for pulse on Winston. This is cheating. It's not a bad play. Well, okay, I said it was a mistake. I wouldn't say it's not necessarily a mistake. It's just a high-risk play. Where if you don't hit the pulse on Winston, this becomes a huge problem because you've given the Tracer the entire angle for free. That's just a feed from their Winston. Why did it fail? Chat, why did Sugarfree get slept? What's the word here? We just said it. This is cheating. This is cheating. We started on this angle. We rotated main to stick to Winston. Winston overextends and dies. Then we use all of our blinks to chase a target a million miles away. We hit the pulse bomb, but he dies for it. Because the sleep is really easy to hit when you don't have another blink.
Oh, he shot me again.
So it's a high risk, high reward play. Again, this is not necessarily a mistake.
No, who is it?
Just a risky play. This is why you should always pursue good fundamentals. You should not worry about who should I shoot, what is good target priority. No, don't worry about target priority. Just take a good angle and shoot. They're actually at 450.
Locked up right.
Why is he going here?
Oh. God damn. Oh, we just... Fuck. Because they're gonna pass.
Why is he going here? He's trying to brute force the angle, right? He thinks the hog's overextended, but you know what? I agree with you. I think this is crazy. I think this is crazy. I think this is crazy. You're rotating with your team and they're gonna deepen the angle to deep, maybe even go high ground, but I agree with you. I think a little pressure on left side while your team pushes out top would have been a little bit smarter. Virulence, I think so. I actually don't know. I don't remember what it's called. Virulence. I'm sorry. Okay, let's look at the Danteh video here. Danteh is also good tracer. How old is this? Okay, he's a little washed, I will say that. But Danteh at a point in time was a good tracer. 150. Granted, I don't think there's a whole lot where we could get the situation before the whole national was necessary to burn to recall. Let's find out.
Pretty much playing tracer in a fucking master's lobby. It's actually kind of crazy to think about.
He'll get his recall back by the time the fight starts. He thought the soldier was one. It's just ego. It's just ego. This would never happen in an actual professional scrim or a high-level lobby. I promise you. Zero chance. You just heard what he just said? Playing Tracer in a Masters lobby, right? That's just disrespect. That's cheating, going for a play that may or may not pay off. That's not that deep. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Equally skilled Soldier, equally skilled Tracer. Soldier wins that one 99% of the time. Opts to sit with his tank, whereas the person would have wrapped around to get behind the Soldier Kiriko. Let's find out. Now, he doesn't have his recall. He doesn't have his recall. And he's also playing versus a composition that's not very fragile. There's not a lot of threat of one clips on Divas and Kirikos. Okay, let's actually take a look at the comp. Hey, what's up? The fragility of this backline is not that great. Like Juno maybe, but not that much. So just hold the angle.
So happy to see it, Diva.
Is our Tracer on an off angle right now, chat? Is our Tracer on an off angle? Yes. So do we need to rotate? No. If you want to go for backline because you got Pulse Bomb, maybe they're on Widowmaker, Sen, sure. Well, the reason that you suck at this is you already highlighted being confused at this fight. So I'm not surprised that you suck at this particular fight. You're not bad. You're a great Tracer player. But yeah, you're fine. Just shoot. Hey, just shoot.
Venture's in.
This backline has not taken space. They're still stuck in the choke. You don't need to do anything. Now, if they walk through the choke, then you shoot them. You could wrap around behind them, but they've not really committed. You could flank.
Venture one.
And there it is. He does. And it's fairly successful, right? But he didn't necessarily need to. He had an off angle. He had a good position. Right, so the thing is just you need an angle. You don't have to be flanking people 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Just shoot. If you have a good short range off angle on any target, you're fine. It might not always be the best position, but it's good enough. Now, I wouldn't say Seeker is a great Tracer. We'll go over this one, but I think Seeker is more of a hit scan guy.
Alright, who should I pulse? Oh, they swap Moira Bap. Guess I'm not pulsing anybody
On the off angle here, this one's fine.
more.
You guys need to stop reading the kill feed. Just because Seeker might have popped up. This is good. Just good. He's controlling the angle, right? I promise you, like large amounts of cash, that if Tracer wasn't here, somebody would have filled this void from either Kiriko or like Echo or whatever else, or BAP or whatever. It's dumb. It was dumb. Chat, what should we have done? What should we have done? Use your third eye. Something's missing here. What's missing? Keep shooting? No. Actually, no. Because they're too far away. It's not a short range off angle. Who the frick is here? There's somebody there. Somebody's there. And they're closer. So much closer. They're right there. Why are we triple blinking across the map to chase something all the way? And when there's somebody right there. It's a short range off angle. Turn around. Mark this. Shoot that. What are you doing? That was never going to work with or without Fade. And now he loses the angle because he got his recall forced by chasing. You're right. This is dumb. We're not going to sugarcoat it.
That stuck him for sure. That definitely stuck him.
And now we lost the angle, right? You notice that?
I love season 9.
Oh, this guy. Overwatch content creators in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Pulls like the biggest bogus misplay of all time. Season 9. I love Seeker. I know he's trolling, but it's still funny, man. Oh, jeez. And why is he going? There's right there. There's an Echo literally right there. Why is he? I can't do this, man. All right, cheers, Umbro.
Not even horrible. It's literally good.
Yeah. Now, if this is timed well, this is useful. Yeah. Yeah, he greeted his recall there and got clipped. But that was much better, you know, actually contesting the people on the angle. But yeah, this isn't a PsyOps guy. This is just bad. You know, it's bad. I doubted Seeker's Tracer, but honestly, the mechanics look pretty smooth there. Like, I'll give some credit where credit's due. But yeah, let's keep going here. This one from Hydron, 430 and 5. I'm pretty sure this is like AI or something, or maybe it's not. All right, Hydron Tracer. So he's pushing cart, goodness knows why. There's 4 people on cart right now. So he's super late in the rotation. What comp are they on as well? Because I think, I will say this, composition does dictate which angles are more attractive. So you look at a composition like this, it's not a very fragile backline, and it's a pretty quick backline. So you may want to play more like a more poke-oriented angle, like something like a little bit shorter and not as deep of a flank. Like I said, this stuff becomes more common in higher ranks. So here, I would probably prefer playing angle here, and then you could always deepen into this way than where Hydron is right now. So he rotates, but he's so freaking late. And then here, there just isn't a great angle. Okay, so he's deep in for the angle there, but he's down a blink, which is scary. He tried to take an angle. He got poked out of the angle. He then rotated and found a different angle. There's nothing crazy here. This is actually pretty flank heavy versus what he's playing. So that's pretty normal. What you may notice with Hydron, or with a lot of these Tracer players, is that when the angles are bad, right? Like, it's really easy to poke them out. It's really open. They get a little bit weirder with how they play. But that's more of a map problem. Big day? Big day because you're here, Storm. Poking out the Tracer on the angle. Poking out the Tracer on the angle. Then takes the angle. They're going to try to chase him. Do you see it? They're pushing him. He gets help from his team. He's able to hold the angle. Then from here, he's going to poke out from here. And then maybe even deepen his angle to the right side. There's nothing here. There's no surprises here. Okay, he's dumb. I wonder if the audio cut out because he swore. Yeah, because that was a big mistake. Because now he doesn't actually have the capability. Now he has to run it through main. He lost the angle. I mean, the verticality here is tough, you know, if you're playing Tracer. You're welcome, Storm. So now it's like, frick. So now he's thinking about it. If there's no beat here from the enemy team, I guarantee you, if there's no beat here, there's beat. Oh, he's thinking about it. You know what he's thinking about, chat? He's thinking about double blinking in here, I think. Or shooting here and looking for an opportunity to rotate through main. Right? But they beat, so now he just kind of off angles on the right side and just shoots. He doesn't have the capability to hard flank. He doesn't have time.
Ripping a fade.
He doesn't even have the path to get there. And then when he can, he deepens and sets up his angle. But this is pretty easy to poke out.
For half, no fade.
He's still on a bit of an angle, right? Where his team is right and he was left. No, I didn't stream for you, Bobby. Actually, I specifically was not going to stream because I freaking hate you, but then Storm came along and I was like, all right.
Twitching.
Yeah, I mean, again, no super mystery there. Your students, compare that to some of your students that you VOD or even unranked to GM on Tracer. They take the time to get behind people. They're being a little sneakier, more methodical. They're engaged. All right, well, let's take a look here. Okay, well, this is a great example here. We don't even necessarily need to look at the VOD. Chat, let's look at like one fight here. Why do you think our Tracer is deep angling here? Look at the comp. Look at the situation. What do you guys see? Look at the comp. Look at the situation. Look at the map. Backline is relatively fragile. And you know what else, chat? Actually, I can do you better. I could draw a line on our screen. Okay? And there is nobody on this entire side of the map. Nobody's there. There's nobody on the angle. No Genji, no Tracer, no Ana, no ED. Nobody's there. Nobody's there. There's nobody marking that angle. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is Diamond. So you know what you do? You take the angle and you shoot backline. Now, if there had been a Genji here, you'd see the Tracer here, poking out the Genji, prodding and poking, prodding and poking. But there's nobody there. So guess what my Tracer does? Guess I'll flank, right? Guess I'll flank. That's it. They're just taking the free space. That's it. There's nobody there. Now, if there'd been somebody marking there, well, you have to take the 1v1. Kind of poke from main. Or not from main, but you're poking in front of their face. Just take the free real estate. This one was a pretty mental focus VOD review. So again, nobody's here. So we could sit here and poke. We can rotate here and poke. We could rotate all the way around behind, but you see, I don't even think that's necessary. Why? Just get here and start poking. So guess what? I think this player, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, but I think they make a mechanical mistake. Yeah, but this is fine. The space is there. The reason why it feels different is because in higher level play, that space just isn't as often free. And so your skill as Tracer is when those spaces are contested. How good are you at winning those 1v1s or not dying? Yep. Another student at 515. Timing was off. He got caught out early. Talked about this busy. Took a lot different than one's top 500. Granted, the map offers deeper angles than some examples have given. Ha! That's it exactly. You got it. All right, well, I'll take a look here. Yeah, so we're trying to hard flank here. We don't necessarily have to hard flank here. We get marked in the angle, so we take the 1v1. We take the 1v1, and we win the 1v1. The reason that we got caught in the flank is I think this is because while we were setting up the angle, their team got killed, and so he tried to live in their backline. But that honestly was a bit of a mistake because it did mean that we were kind of slow to start pushing in. But yeah, there wasn't that detailed. We took the angle. It was a pretty deep flank. They ran into a Tracer. They won the 1v1, and that's it. If there had been nobody on this flank, then they would have kept going and going for backline. So it just so happened that the Tracer ended up being on the flank that we wanted to take. And the reason that that flank worked is because they just let us go there. There was nobody there to stop. Or the A10 Tracer video, 40-minute mark. All right, let's take a look.
And we can get behind her. And then line it up. I'm scared she's going to post one, by the way. That's why.
He's on the back line. I don't know how long it took him to get there. Hopefully not too long.
Faded.
He's on a short off angle.
So we can
Easy
catch
clip.
And I'm gonna die here, probably. And break it down with a bunch of other things. Okay? I imagine the enemy team's pathing. I then intercept it from a different angle than they are going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that wasn't mechanical. Straight up. That thing on the mortar was unironically not mechanical.
I fail to understand what the problem is here. He's setting up a juicy angle behind the M team, whereas I just don't see me top 500s doing that regardless of the map. If you don't see Tracers setting up on this angle in top 500, then you're watching the wrong top 500s. I might not go all the way around in the flank, but sitting here on this angle, really easy. You get pressured, it's easy to get out. You know what would happen in top 500? Here's what would happen in top 500. This is now where your knowledge is going to be tested here. Can you actually apply what we've talked about? Raya and Toaster and all you guys. What would happen in top 500 here? Right here. Enemy team is on, what are they on? I don't know what heroes are on. Mercy, Echo, Tracer. Great. Okay, perfect. What would happen here? Tracer would be here. Tracer would be right here on your left. 100%. So then what would A10 do? He'd poke the Tracer. Maybe he loses a couple of blinks. He blinks out to here and is poking the Tracer from main. Just poking the Tracer here, and then maybe rotates to here and pokes from here, and marking, controlling the Tracer Echo from here. And that's what happens. Somebody's going to be there. It's not going to be empty. Yes, that's a good win, Storm. Yeah, 100%. And top 500, somebody's going to be here. Almost certainly. So the difference between playing Tracer like an assassin or a pressure sponge, Unreal, is there somebody that is taking the same angle as you are. Then you're a pressure sponge. If the answer is not, then you're an assassin. That's pretty much it. There's nobody here. So guess what? Nobody's giving A10 any respect whatsoever. So the value is through the kill. Not through the marking or controlling his face. There's nobody here. I mean, look at where their Tracer comes from, right? I think part of it's because it's OT, but their Tracer just runs it down main, right? Like, so there's just nobody even remotely contesting A10. Heck, he's flanking their Tracer, right? And it's just the easiest setup in the history of the universe. He's not even having high downtime. I think the reason he was staying there is looking for a pulse bomb. And that's it. So we shouldn't stay in the angle and shoot, but instead sneak him one. No, absolutely stay in the angle and shoot. I'm saying if there's nobody there, then you can do whatever you want. If you want to sneak and go for a one clip, like kind of what A10 did here, that's fine. But A10, once he was on the angle, he could have just shot and shot. He could be shooting and shooting and shooting. Like if this is me playing Tracer, I don't have my faith in hitting the one clip. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna keep shooting. That's the awkward or whatever. Sure, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody's here, so it doesn't matter. If you're getting marked in a 1v1, and you're losing those 1v1s, then that's where your difficulty is coming into. When people are marking you, you need to not lose, you know? You may not win. But see, this is kind of what A10's doing now. You see that A10 is kind of like more about long-term pressure there. He's like kind of a sustained pressure. Like right now, he's going for the Moira, but it's only because it's a convenient path to the Moira. Again, he's still not being marked. That's all it really is. If Cass marks you, what do? Win. Find a way to close the distance. The key thing with Cass is being able to move through him so that you're able to play around his hinder and shots. Find a different angle if you can. I wouldn't say it's an easy win. It really depends on the setup. Like Cass, obviously, if the angle is a little bit more open, it's a lot trickier. But yeah, I hope this is kind of making sense. I've had these exact same sessions with Winston players. I had a whole session with a Doomfist player where he was saying, you know, do I angle on the front line or do I angle on the back line? In fact, let me actually pull that up really fast. So this student here comes in and he's like, you know, do I angle on front line? Do I angle on back line? And my answer was, doesn't matter. Like Doomfist is fine in tank trades. Doomfist is fine in backline trades. It doesn't matter. Just set up your angle and pressure the tank or pressure the backline. Like heck, even Orissa's fine. Like you can force Javelin, you can force Fortify, you can really like abuse her. So like this situation here was, I remember this VOD, we said you could roll out top and go for backline, or you could roll out main and position to here and pressure from here. Doesn't really matter. Just don't stand here. You can pressure the front line from here. It's up to you, right? What happens when your angles are marked? Well, just find an angle, right? So you could either go for backline here or this is, I'm literally saying it right now, or you could go here and force the Orisa to turn and look at you and trade front lane. That's fine. This is where people misunderstand. We see this with Kiriko too. Like, why is a Kiriko like not hard flanking like Awkward does his Unranked GM? Awkward hard flanks in Kiriko because the enemy backline is running Widow Zen and nobody's on the flank. But if somebody's marking you on an angle as Kiriko, then you take the duel. And that might mean that you're not so far away from your tank line. The depth of the angle is usually based off of what the enemy team gives you. That's it. That's why Sombra often goes for backline. Often, not always, but often, because she's invisible and so very hard to contest. But in any normal hero, even with heroes with mobility, it's a lot easier to contest you. So you oftentimes don't necessarily go all the way around. So you just prioritize on taking an angle that complements your range. Whether that shoots tank, DPS, support, if it's back, short, doesn't matter. See what happens. Does that make sense? I know we kind of went down the rabbit hole there, but I think it's an important rabbit hole. TLDR is that pros make mistakes, but the vast majority of differences that you see in pros playstyle is just not because they play differently than you or how you should be playing, but just because when they try to do good things, they get countered. And so they have to take the engagement fighting for those good things. Whereas doing a good thing in lower ranks is more free value. You're not going to be contested taking space as much. The fundamentals don't change, the nature of the match does, right? Exactly. You still take angles and flanks. It just, people stop you from doing so. That's the difference, really. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. I think it's an excellent question. Part of what we saw was a misunderstanding. Part of what we saw was, you're right. What they did was stupid. A lot of those clips were pretty bad. They're just mistakes, you know? How much money to make sure you never give summer tips again? Ooh, I don't know. I don't have a southern house, you know, or a Florida house, or I don't have my own island, so maybe we start with that.